The little boy said, "Sir, please take my mama." The cowboy looked at her bruises and nodded. The wind howled through the empty streets of Dustfall, carrying whispers of fear, broken promises, and footsteps running out of time. The little boy stumbled toward the stranger on the horse, eyes wet, voice trembling as he clutched the cowboy's coat. "Sir, please take my mama." His small hands shook. His voice cracked. And when the cowboy looked past him and saw the bruised woman standing in the doorway silent, trembling eyes begging without a word, he felt something stir deep inside the scarred corners of his soul. He looked at her bruises, then at the boy, and nodded. He was a quiet man, known to ride alone, known to disappear into the horizon like a shadow that refused to belong anywhere. A long scar ran down his jaw, visible beneath the dust, but the real wound was deeper, carved into memory, carved into regret. He never stayed long in any town, but something about the woman standing half-hidden behind the broken doorframe, beauty dimmed but not extinguished, held him in place. Her hair caught the dying light of the desert sun, glowing like gold laced with sorrow. Her eyes, dark, mysterious, filled with a terror she tried hard to hide, met his for just a moment. In that moment, he knew she carried secrets, dangerous ones. She wanted to speak, to tell him the truth, but fear tightened her throat. Not yet. That night in the lantern-lit saloon, the cowboy sat quietly in a corner, watching her move through shadows like a ghost trapped between worlds. The boy stayed close to her skirt, flinching whenever boots thudded against the wooden floor. Every whisper, every drunken laugh made her shoulders tense. She was brave, but fragile, strong, but tired. And he could see someone had claimed control over her life, someone cruel, someone who wasn't finished. He didn't speak, he didn't pry. He simply watched, and she felt his eyes like a shield she hadn't had in years. The next day, he saw the bruises more clearly, marks of fists, of fear. Of nights she tried desperately to survive for her son's sake. And for the first time in years, the cowboy felt anger rise in him, old and familiar, stirring like a storm he thought he'd buried with his past. Their bond grew in small gestures, his horse tied outside her door in silent protection. Her leaving a cup of water on his table with a tremble she tried to hide, the boy smiling for the first time as the cowboy taught him to hold the reins. Then one night, under a sky full of silver stars, she finally whispered the truth. A man was hunting her, a dangerous outlaw. She had once belonged to him. She had escaped with the boy the night he nearly killed her. And now, he had come to Dustfall. The cowboy didn't speak, simply placed his hand gently on hers, steady, warm, unafraid. And she knew he had made his choice. At dawn, the outlaw arrived with fury in his eyes. The showdown was swift, brutal, echoing across the desert. Dust rose in swirling clouds as gunshots cracked like thunder. The cowboy stood firm between the man and the woman he had silently sworn to protect. And when the dust settled, the outlaw lay face down in the sand, and the long shadow over her life finally broke. That evening, as the sun bled gold across the horizon, the cowboy, the woman, and her little boy sat beside a quiet campfire. The flames danced softly, warming faces that had finally stopped trembling. She looked at him with gratitude, and something gentler, something hopeful. He looked at her bruises fading in the firelight, and felt a peace he hadn't known in years. Sometimes redemption didn't come from the past. Sometimes it arrived in the form of a woman with haunted eyes, and a little boy brave enough to ask for help. If you enjoyed this journey through the untamed Wild West, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell for more gripping tales from the edge of history. Comment below which moment moved you the most. Wild Tales Storytelling.